Replay viewers, thanks so much for the hearts. Appreciate it. Everybody, what's up? Welcome wherever you are watching. This is Lessons from Mount Rushmore. How's it going? Where are you watching from? I want to know wherever you're watching from. If you would, just swipe up real quick, hit share broadcast. You can also hit down over here in the bottom corner and you hit the little Periscope guy, and Joe, go ahead and send that out. It's going to be great. Where are you watching from? That's the question. I want to know where you are coming from right now. We got some people. Thanks for the hearts, everybody. I really appreciate it, and really excited. Yeah, isn't this awesome? So yeah, this is what's going up. So here's the deal. We're going to get some more people in, and once we get some more people in, then I'm going to get into some content, because it's pretty cool to see what's going on. Periscope to the whole next level. All right. So listen, I don't know. Let's see if we can zoom this in over here. So here we are at Mount Rushmore, and this is the legit deal. I'm actually going to flip this around and kind of show you what's going on here. This is going to be pretty cool. Got a little... But if you can see that okay, let's see if I can maybe kind of rest it here a little bit. Pretty awesome, huh? Isn't that so cool? From Mount Rushmore, here we are. Lessons from leadership and all the above. Share this out with your followers, because I think this is going to be some pretty cool stuff. That I got some stuff for you, and check it out. Really cool place. How many of you have ever been to Mount Rushmore? Have you ever been to Mount Rushmore? I didn't even know what Dakota was like known for at all, but apparently it's pretty cool. So they've got like amphitheaters and all this kind of stuff, and pretty legit. Here's what I want to get into right now, okay? Because as you can tell, your parents have, very cool. Well, if your parents have, then you kind of have. Kaylee has, it's pretty awesome. So here's the deal. Here's the thing about Mount Rushmore that I love so much. So as you can see, we got these guys up here, right? And, you know, when this was created, obviously something had to happen where people said, you know, we want to spotlight these guys and we want to understand what this is all about. And here I think the important thing to learn from leadership is the representation of what each of these gentlemen represent. Now, obviously they're great men. Obviously they're presidents of the United States. Obviously they've done stuff that has been very beneficial for our country. But at the end of the day, what does it really come down to? And I've got 4 things, as always, that I really think that are going to benefit us as we talk about leadership and as we talk about what it means to learn from some of these guys right here. So here's the deal. So the first guy obviously is George Washington. Now, George Washington was the first president of the United States, and I think that alone is a good indicator to kind of help us understand that leaders, they're first. It doesn't matter what you are doing. It doesn't matter where you're going, maybe what you've been called to or the dream you've got. Like, you're just going to have to be the first one to get out there and do it. And when you're out there and you're on by yourself, it can be very difficult. Can you imagine the kind of conversations that he must have had with other people who disagreed with him or didn't think that it was going to go the way that he thought it should go? But at the end of the day, because he was called, because he was chosen, he had to be the first leader. So if you're going to be a loud leader, you're going to have to definitely be first as a leader. The second person that we have to talk about is Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was one of the principal authors of the Declaration of Independence. He did a lot of writing. He was involved in a lot of pulling all of the Declaration of Independence together, and I think something we can take from that is to remember that, you know, leaders are responsible for putting things into writing, for putting things into documentation, for creating systems, for creating things that are going to help better and further the systems and the structures and the organizations around us. I'm sure that they had, talk about some passionate table talks, right? They had some really epic moments, I'm sure. But if you think about it, as a leader, a lot of the times we go in and we say, this is where we're going, now y'all figure out how to do it. It doesn't really work that way. You really have to make sure that when you go in that you understand, okay, the pen is in my hand and I'm going to sign the signature of destiny onto whatever it is that I'm called to do. And Thomas Jefferson did that, and because of that, he was one out. Many people were involved in writing the Declaration of Independence, but he was a principal author in helping in that process, like crazy. The third person is Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, I'm here at Mount Rushmore, for those of you who don't know that and don't recognize what's going on back here. Theodore Roosevelt had a big part in constructing the Panama Canal. Now, he's known for many things, but that was a big part of what he did. He pushed the construction of the Panama Canal, and when he built something, it actually made so much of the things as far as the import and export for our country so much better and so much stronger. And here's this, think about this. In the construction of the Panama Canal, he had to make some decisions, and he had to build, and I think that's something that leaders have to think think out too. Leaders have to build constantly. Your hands are on it, you're getting nitty and gritty, and you are doing things on a daily basis that are constantly. So ask yourself the question, what are you doing to build your organization? What are you doing to build your personal life? What are you doing to build your habits today? What are you doing? Because as a leader, as this leader did, he built something, and because he built something, man, it was so beneficial for our country, for the history of America, and pretty crazy thing. Last but definitely not least is Abraham Lincoln. We all know Abraham Lincoln and also did many wonderful things, but at the end of the day, Abraham Lincoln is known a lot for his acts with the Civil War and abolishing some of those civil injustices. And I think that when conflict arises, as a leader, conflict is going to arise. It's just, it's nature, it's second nature. If you're working with people, you're going to have conflict in some way, form, or fashion. And so I think that it's important that we recognize that leaders, you can't be afraid of that conflict. And maybe you might have some civil wars in your office. Maybe you might have some civil war in the politics aspect of what's going on. But you got to remember that as a leader, we recognize you have to jump in and you have to say, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Here's the piece. This is how this is going to work. And you're really going to have to see some things take place. And so I think at the end of the day, we can learn from George Washington to Thomas Jefferson to Theodore Roosevelt and then on to Abraham Lincoln. Like, these great men of God really built something phenomenal, and because of it, they were honored for it. Now, as far as Mount Rushmore goes, I haven't read all the facts yet. I just got here and I wanted to get going on the scope. But as far as from what I can tell, it took 14 years to complete that project. Gosh, can you imagine 14 years? It took 14 years to complete it, and it took over 400 people. 400 people worked on this, and there was one main sculptor. I forget how to pronounce his last name, but he's everywhere. If I see it or if you know it, just throw it in the comments. Sorry, dude. It's really going to be kind of crazy. But 14 years, right? And it took 400 people. They used blasts of dynamite to actually blast the rocks out. And in the process of blasting the rocks out, they had to walk. I think it was like over here. They would literally like walk up. There was staircases over there. They had to walk 500 steps every single time just to get up and down the thing. The other cool thing that I thought about is that scientists have come back and they've actually looked at the erosion factors. Borglum, that's it. Thanks, Cody. Borglum was in there, and he was in charge of doing all this stuff as the main sculptor. But what took place at the end of the day was scientists now have come back and they have said, hey, what happens with erosion and all this kind of stuff? And they say that even after thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that you're still going to be able to see the faces of this stuff. They've even speculated that there is room for a fifth face. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, look, here you go. The sun's coming out too. That actually, people say that there could even be a fifth face that would go in there. So yeah, so anyways, this is Mount Rushmore, y'all, and leadership lessons from it. And I really hope it's great. Yeah, Cody's awesome. He's always on it. Always on it. So beautiful scenery as well. Just, around everywhere. It's just absolutely incredible. It really reminds you how awesome and how creative God is. Like, everyone is focused on that, but God actually created all of this. It's pretty. Anyways, so that is the plan, and sun is coming out. It's getting bright. Need another cloud because I had some really good lighting here for the cloud. So yeah, I appreciate it. Jennifer, I'm glad you like this. Thanks for the hearts, everybody, too. Yeah, the trail. That means I gotta walk. Oh my goodness. Hey, let's answer some questions real quick and kind of see what's going on. Man, that sun is really kicking. Here comes a cloud. Hold on, it's coming. It is coming. There's a lot of people here today too. Parking, just in case you didn't know, that once you get a parking ticket, it is good for the end of the year. So just in case you'd like to get going. Who is your Mount Rushmore in ministry? Like a person? Traveling solo? Yeah, I am actually. So for those of you just catching up on the trip right now, I'm on a 6-state sweep right now, and I have a goal by the time I'm 30, which will be next year, to go to every single state in the United States of America. I'm doing good, but I had some random ones to get through, and so I'm actually knocking those out right now. So I leave here today, headed up to Wyoming, and we'll be at Yellowstone. Some big stuff. Oh, the Big Four? Man, that's a great question. Really, really cool question, Jack. So my big four would definitely be Tommy Birchfield, absolutely. Kenneth Hagin would be in there. T.L. Osborne. And probably Dr. Paul Crouch, probably. I would think that just for what they did, in the idea of ministry, and that was a great question. Way to throw me on the spot, Jack. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Let me think if I want to change any of those out. No, I think that's pretty good. I'll stick with that. I'll stick with that. Be good. Other questions? What's going on? What are you doing today? That is the real question. What are you doing today? And once again here, nice scenery, and it's awesome. How many states left before seeing all 50? So after I finish this up, I got Ohio, Oregon, and the random little England whirls. So like 6 or 7, maybe tops. I've traveled a lot, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, so I'm on it, and I've got plans for everything throughout the year. So Oregon in December, and then New England. Actually, Josh, you know somebody up in Boston, don't you? Dustin was telling me about that. I haven't been to Boston yet, but would love to connect with that guy whenever that. Hawaii, yeah, I've been to Hawaii. Lots of good friends in there. Alaska, yep, getting that. Josh, I would appreciate it, man. Later, when the time rolls around, I'd love to connect with your buddy up there, man. That would be really, really cool. So, hey, is this cool or what? Thanks for the hearts, everybody. If you like this, I think this deserves some hearts, man. South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, like, this is legit, and kind of saying what is going on with all that is happening. So lots of fun stuff, lots of great things happening, and yeah, this has been very, very beneficial and really pretty cool. And thanks to the wonderful genius of the selfie stick, we can give you some pretty cool angles in this whole thing called Periscope. So yeah, for those of you, we'll recap real fast, and then we'll go ahead and go. If you're not following me too, I don't always bring epically passionate scopes like this from Loud Leadership, but hey, I'm here, so might as well take advantage of it, right? So to recap, leaders are big, and leaders are important, and leaders have to recognize that we got to do things. We honored these guys up here, these presidents, for different things. George Washington, because he was the first president of the United States. You've got to be the first as a leader. You got to be the first at some point, someplace, sometime. Number 2, we honored Thomas Jefferson, who was a principal author in the Declaration of Independence. Leaders have to write stuff. Leaders have to write systems and get things in perspective, and put the foundation of what is in here, have to put it here. It's a really, really important part. Theodore Roosevelt had a big part in the construction of the Panama Canal, and construction is a big part because he recognized that construction was going to help benefit his country. What do you need to build today as a leader that is going to help you build whatever you're trying to build? What is going to benefit the vision that you're a part of, and what can you build accordingly to help with that? And then last but not least, Abraham Lincoln was a huge leader when it came to the Civil War, and recognizing what civil rights was all about, and understanding the conflict that our country was in at that time, and was able to step in. And as he was able to step in, what was happening? He was able to step in and resolve and bring peace. And there might be some conflict in your culture today, but I would just encourage you that whatever it is that you feel called to do, that you stick with it and just get after it and enjoy it and make the ministry happen, right? So that's the plan. That's what's going on. I'm going to get on the road because I got a long drive ahead of me today, but this has been awesome, and I really hope this has been beneficial to you wherever you've been coming from. Thanks again for all the love in the comments. I'm fixing to sign off here, and go take some pictures and all that jazz. If you ever get a chance to get up here, it is a pretty cool place. It is a pretty cool place that I think would be very, very beneficial, very, very beneficial to you guys. So thanks for the travels. You get to travel along. That's right. That's the wonderful thing about Periscope, right? You get to come along for the entire time and kind of enjoy it with that. Okay, everybody, we all have a great, wonderful day, and we might be on a little bit later as we Periscope together. All right, see ya. Bye-bye.